Literally, I did a video in 2023 about asking people if they remembered the Richard Bey Show. But I want to talk more about the Richard Bey Show and on why I think it's a lot better. I've already explained that in a previous video, but it's 2025, and like most talk shows from the 90s, I really think that Richard Bey should be streaming remastered in HD or whatever. I was watching The Dark Side of the 90s documentary on Hulu, and they talked about all of the daytime tabloid talk shows like Jerry Springer, Ricky Lake, and whatnot. But one thing that they forgot to talk about was the Richard Bey Show, which actually started off as People Are Talking. If you haven't seen the video, Who Remembers Richard Bey, I did back in 2023. It's on my TikTok page. But I'm going to explain the reasons why I think the Richard Bey Show should be streaming for some reasons, even though we probably might not see it streaming. So the only way you can see the Richard Bey Show is on YouTube, because they have like clips of it. But I literally thought about the Richard Bey Show, and that's one thing that the Dark Side of the 90s forgot to talk about, because the Richard Bey Show, I think, was a lot better than Jerry Springer, in my opinion. But despite the fact that I never seen it when it was on, but thank God for the internet and YouTube that I got to see clips of the Richard Bey Show. And, it started off as a local show airing on WWOR Channel 9 in New York City, New York, as well as Secaucus, New Jersey, which would later become UPN 9 when UPN launched January 16, 1995, and is currently have the My Network TV affiliation. And the Richard Bey Show started off as a local show, and then it ended up becoming national in January of 1995, airing in various markets. Most of the markets that aired the Richard Bey Show in national syndication were UPN affiliates, if I'm not mistaken. It aired on some other stations, but most of the stations that aired the Richard Bey Show nationally were UPN stations. And I thought to myself, I think Richard Bey Show should be streaming. The company that distributed Richard Bey in national syndication was All American Television, if I'm not mistaken. But I honestly like the Richard Bey Show a lot better than Jerry Springer. No offense to anybody who watched the Jerry Springer show. But the Richard Bey Show was a lot better to me. And even though I never saw it when it was on, but thank God for YouTube, because YouTube is the only place where you can see the Richard Bey Show. I hope one day it will become streaming. I hope it gets remastered. Because like most previous talk shows, like, they're streaming. They have episodes of it on YouTube, like Ricky Lake and whatnot. But the Richard Bey Show should be remastered in HD. Maybe it's in a vault somewhere. I don't know. But what I do know is that I like the Richard Bey Show a lot better than Jerry Springer. So maybe one day it'll get remastered in 4K. Who knows? Only time will tell. But if you haven't seen the video I did, Who Remembers the Richard Bey Show, it's on my TikTok page.